Hiya, how you doing? And welcome back to my channel. If you are a Hinster, happy Saturn day. The moon is in Taurus right now. Hope you're having a fantastic Saturn day and that it's all earthy and douchey, but also comfy and cozy and just a nice day for you. And if you're not new to this channel and you like what I do, please do subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. So this one is going to be the next phase of my Howay Hermes little journey where we talk about Hermes or Mercury and the sort of journey that it's making through the zodiac all the time pretty quickly. This one is actually during the period Hermes in Sagittarius of December 2nd to December 21st of 2020. So pretty quick transit. There's no retrograde involved in this Mercury transit, and so Hermes is flitting through the fire. If you'd like a reading with me, also you can check below in the description for my rates and my services. I do full breath chart readings, I do general breath chart readings, I do transit reports, I help you with really specific, like nitty-gritty questions that you might have about your chart. I do compatibility reports as well. I do transit reports. Did I say that? Maybe I didn't. I'm a little charged today. You might also hear the laundry in the background. It's Saturn day, so I'm trying to get a lot done. Let us just calm down a little bit. Calm down, Henny. So, yes, readings. If you're interested, you can check the description below for everything. It's all there. My website is there, and I'm pretty free in the latter half of December and January as well. You can also find testimonials on my website if you're interested in, like, has Henny actually read for anyone? What is it actually like? Like, what are people actually saying? You can check that out as well before you purchase, before you book or inquire. Also, finally, if you're a Sagittarius Sun, then you get 20% off any of my services. All you have to do is book at any point during Sagittarius season. So that's like, I think the last day is 22nd of December. So if you book before or right on December 22nd, you can get yourself 20% off. Or you can also, even if you're not a Sagittarius, you can book for a Sagittarius friend or relative or partner. And it's a nice little gift, especially if you want like a full birth chart reading, which you're going to want like a good 2-3 hours really if you want to go through the bulk of your chart. Then you want like 2-3 hours, and so really take advantage, if you like, of the 20% offer that I am giving you. The final little housekeeping thing is, if you want to support me and my good friend Alvia over at Inspiring Alien Creations here on YouTube, you can. First of all, you can go over to his channel, Inspiring Alien Creations, but what I also want to get you to do is go to our collaborative channel that we just made, which is called Mercurial Mystics. Mercurial Mystics. Give us a subscribe and a thumbs up if you like the episode. Episode 0 is already there for you to watch. We just kind of introduce ourselves a little bit and the kind of topics that we're going to do. We're going to do a lot of different topics, including, of course, astrology, tarot, and aliens. And the aliens episode comes out on Wednesday, next Wednesday, at around 6:45 UK time in the evening. And we're premiering that video, so hopefully at least one of us is going to be there to chat with you as well if you want to watch it as it's launched. So, Howay Hermes in Sagittarius, December 2nd to December 21st of 2020. So what is Hermes, right? What is Hermes? What are these archetypes of like Hermes, of Mercury, or of any like archetype god in any culture or tradition or stories or, you know, what's the word? Lore. What are these archetypes of like Hermes? Well, they include things like messages. So Hermes is all about messengers, very often called the messenger of the zodiac. Hermes is also that of like buzz. and activity, and that can include things like travel, transport, like flitting around from A to Z. But it can also be like interdimensional, like teleporting. What's that Netflix series? Umbrella Academy. Umbrella Academy. There's the I forget the name of the character. I'm so bad. I'm so bad remembering things, but like the sort of really old character, but who has come back in time, like from the future, right? Come from the future to the present, as a boy, as like a teenage schoolboy or schoolboy. That character is super, super, super mercurial, and I actually think the actor, when I looked, and again I've forgotten the name, terrible, but the actor I believe is like a Virgo sun or like really Virgo Gemini, so super duper mercurial. That's actually both sides of Mercury, Virgo and Gemini. And also in X-Men, you've got Nightcrawler. That's also a perfect sort of archetype of what we're talking about with Hermes. So messengers or messages, buzz and activity as well, transporting, teleporting, telepathy as well, activity in general. So anything that's buzzing, like vibing, busy, bustling, and that can also be with your hands as well. So putting your hands in a very busy, active, buzzing sort of fashion onto things or into things, you know, pushing all the buttons, typing a lot, and all that jazz. Hermes is also about being shrewd or clever. You've got the Kens, right? That's mercurial, hermetic type stuff. And it's also in a traditional astrology associated with the mercantile or markets, because, you know, if you want to be a good business person, you have to kind of be a bit shrewd. You have to kind of be a bit clever as well. If you want profit, if you want to make deals, you have to be kind of really conversational. So Mercury in contemporary astrology, therefore, is very often associated just more generally with communication and also how we think and intelligence. I think it really goes back to like the really traditional ideas of just being very mercantile, very clever when talking, and very shrewd. Hermes, through all the transits, is having a bit of a ball because it's the year of the rat, and the rat in Chinese astrology is also very shrewd and very like mercantile. What is Sagittarius then? So Sagittarius is very, very briefly, I'm doing this really briefly, I want to keep this video kind of short. So Sagittarius, first of all, is the outward side of Jupiter. So you've got Pisces, which is the inward side of Jupiter, and then you've got Sagittarius, which is very much outward. Yes, Sagittarius is mutable fire, and it's also the last fire sign, or the last fire season of the astrological year. So I said in a previous video recently that Sag season always wants us to kind of go out with a bang, as it's the last fire season of the year. So it's the last time we really get to make the most, at least in terms of the sun going through Sag, is the last time we get to make the most in 2020, 2021 of fire magic in that way. But Sagittarius is also the centaur, so it's kind of like the archetype or the energy of, or really similar to the centaur. So, you know, really wild, really jolly, a bit raunchy, also sort of half person, half not person. So you get something very similar, right, to Gemini or mercurial sort of energy archetypes, which is sort of this realm, but also kind of not. Pisces is the same in this realm, but also kind of not, flitting between worlds, whether that's like the living world and the underworld, or just between like loads of different dimensions or time periods, time dimensions. What is going on with my hair today? I didn't really do anything. I usually don't do anything with my hair anyway, but like, whatever. Also, Sagittarius is the archetype of the horse, more generally, or more in our real earth sort of sense. It's just horses and horsey stuff. It's also the butterfly I very often associate Sag with, and birds as well, but like butterflies, birds, and bikes, like bikes, things like bikes, motorbikes, scooters, and also running and like walking, like adventurous walking. That all that is kind of like Sag energy, Sag archetypes. Sagittarius is also the archer. It's also the sage. Sage? Sagittarius. The spelling of Sagittarius is not actually a J, but a G. just like in sage. So it's about sages or sageness and teachers as well, and also soldiers. This is the only glyph in the birth chart you might notice that is like a weapon, and it was the divine Venus who first kind of brought that to my attention years ago in one of her earlier videos, where she talked about the sort of bow and the arrow and how it's also the only weapon in the zodiac. And so of course this very fiery, mutable sign this energy can bring out magic in us, power in us, actions in us, where we shoot, where we snipe, where we spit spiritually or literally. And I want to kind of talk as well in this little video about how a lot of people say that Hermes falls in Sagittarius. And this really comes, as far as I'm aware, from the opposition. So Gemini opposing Sagittarius in the zodiac. And so because, you know, Hermes is supposed to be like really comfortable in Gemini, therefore the logic goes Hermes is going to be really uncomfortable in Sagittarius. But I want to kind of flip this and kind of, I'm always trying to like play with these like really simplistic binaries in astrology. And because by the way, you can go over to Soul Navigation here on YouTube. I'm actually collaborating with Meredith on Soul Navigation and some other astrologers and spiritualists and psychics over there on Soul Navigation here on YouTube. And we do like talk show Tuesdays, and in my episode where I am kind of being interviewed with and talking with Linda Fraser, another intuitive, we talk about lots of different things like the magic of your birth chart, astrology, and all that jazz. But I also talk about how just because we have like an exalted placement, let's say we have Mercury in Virgo in our birth chart, or the moon in Taurus, okay, these so-called exaltations, doesn't necessarily mean good for us, and because we of course have free will. So what you could do with like a moon in Taurus, or let's say like what I mentioned in that video, what you could do with a really well-placed Mercury, you could actually rob a bank. You could strategize or mastermind something brilliant to do harm or to steal, right? So you're still using the exaltation or the comfort of the placement, but obviously you're doing something, you're committing a crime, or you're doing something bad or evil or dark, right? And the same goes the other way around. So you could have retrogrades in your chart, you could have these so-called falls or detriment placements in your chart, but that doesn't always mean bad things. And so I just want to put that out there for anyone who might think that if they have like Mercury in Sagittarius that it's all doom and gloom, or you're like fated to something fallen. You're not. You might be because you have your free will as well and your self-awareness, but it's never ever fated, or as fated as we think, or fated in the way that we might think. So I wanted to talk about like really recently as well. I have this friend of mine, and she has, I'm not going to mention her name because I don't have her permission, but she has Mercury in Sagittarius, and recently we had this conversation. She was helping us with something really big and important that's going on in my life right now, and she was just able to provide positive, bigger picture advice, and I think that's brilliant, and that's something that really only like these Mercury and Sagittarius people can do in their conversations, in their communications, is how they think a lot of the time, or it's how they send out messages. So very positive, like bigger picture advice. And it was actually the most helpful advice I got. And I asked a lot of friends and people around me to help me with this thing, because I worry a lot and I like to get different perspectives sometimes. But she was just like, it was this Hermes and Sag energy, which was very positive. But it wasn't like blowing me up either. It wasn't telling lies either. It was just like positive, bigger picture advice. Sag can also be like really cheerleady type of advice, and also kind of like philosophical, kind of witty, very similar to Gemini. Oh, by the way, you can check out my December 2020 astrology video, which I made recently, if you're interested in the specifics of what Hermes might be doing on the day-to-day. Hermes going through Sagittarius is gonna make the collective in this period of December, sort of ask more of the uncomfortable questions. And I think that's actually quite a good quality a lot of the time of Mercury or Hermes in Sagittarius, because sometimes you've just gotta ask or say that uncomfortable thing because it kind of goes hand in hand with breaking the ice. And I feel like Mercury and Sag people are really good at breaking the ice in a social situation especially. I also think it's going to be great for us to turn our thoughts into optimistic, that's the Sagittarius, and actionable, that's the fire, magic or energies. So when Mercury Hermes was going through Scorpio, we might have had all kinds of thoughts and communications, messages, but it was in water, and for a long time it was retrograde as well. So there might have been so much like inability for us to actually put our thoughts into action and or to actually make our thoughts optimistic. So turn negative thoughts into something more optimistic and hopeful. So I feel like this transit, Mercury Hermes going through Sagittarius, is gonna inject this optimism, and we're gonna be actually able to get things rolling and to put action out there, to apply what we've been thinking of into the real world, put it out there as well so other people can see and engage with it. Finally, I think also that we'll be forgiving and not forgetting, because Sag doesn't necessarily forget, but Sag very often forgives. It's a fire sign. I think fire signs in general can be quite forgiving, or if you have a lot of fire in your chart, you do have more of a forgiving side to you. But with Sag, it's kind of like forgive but not forget, but deading the issue. And I'm kind of alluding here to Nicki Minaj's song Pills and Potions. So someone might like to go and listen to that song now and read the lyrics. Nicki Minaj, Pills and Potions. I think it really does chime well with this particular Sagittarius season, but also the certain rat year wise vibes that we have to channel in this 2020 and early 2021 period, which is like forgive but don't forget, but still like deading the issue and kind of being more relaxed about it, and just like not letting something or someone sort of hold you down or keep you in some grudge space, or in some like also some like wishing dead or ill on others because of what they've done to you, but that only sort of like poisons yourself kind of thing. So putting all of that away, I think Hermes going through Sagittarius is going to help us with that. That's kind of my little take on Hermes in Sagittarius during this period of December 2nd, 21st to the 21st of 2020. My name's Henny. Hope you enjoyed. Leave a comment as well if you have any thoughts, musings on any of what I kind of mentioned. I've got the hiccups now. And also if you have Mercury in Sagittarius, and if you have any natal placements in Sagittarius, Hermes is about to tickle those natal placements of yours in December. So let us know. I don't have any Sag placements. I just have Sag on the cusp of my 6th house. So I'd love to hear what you have to say if you do have Sag placements. Alrighty, take care. Love you very much. Bye-bye.